cheering for the black bloc team, cheering for the police team, cheering for the militia team. This could be a really bad situation. Okay, we saw what happened in Kenosha, Wisconsin, in which there was a call for armed militia to come into the streets of Kenosha because apparently they didn't think that police were being tough enough on the crowds in the streets. And we saw 2 people shot and killed, and now a teenager accused in those killings, a teenager who investigators believe was lured into Kenosha to make some stand for America. So understand people want to root for their different teams, but there's also just people who live and work in that part of Denver who want nothing to do with a shooting match in the streets. So right now, we're getting Jennifer Meckles and her photojournalist Foster Gaines and the rest of their crew out of there. We're going to get them clear of that situation because this is the dynamic that was warned about earlier tonight. And yeah. So not good. So you don't want to see that. This is video from earlier. This is not live video. This is video of Denver police advancing south across Colfax at Washington, pushing the crowd that was outside trying to knock down the fence at the police building, pushing them south into a residential area. Our Ryan Hara was on the south side of this. And for a while, there was just kind of this smooth movement, like what you're seeing here, where there was no attempt to make a stand, and people were just moving south. And again, if your goal is a peaceful resolution as opposed to watching your side beat the living daylights out of the other side, then dispersing is good. Because dispersing means that people in that crowd go home, and it means that law enforcement officers go home. So if that's your goal, dispersal is what we started to see there, but then things got a little heated at Ryan's position, which was just south of Colfax. There were some police coming in on motorcycles. It looked like there were some people from the crowd who were kind of dispersing horizontally into the neighborhood, and Ryan didn't feel comfortable at that spot, so he and his photojournalist Austin Knox and the rest of his crew were going to get to a safe spot. So we'll bring you live pictures when we can safely bring you live pictures of what's happening in Denver tonight. But not even a week after the last clash in Denver, we are again seeing it. We are again seeing it in Denver streets. Pardon me, I'm just going to take a look at something. Okay, here's what we're looking at now. This is Denver School Board Director Tay Anderson. He's been a prominent voice in the Black Lives Matter movement here in Denver. He's been involved in a number of peaceful daytime protests. This was his tweet earlier today at 5:40. You can see he deleted his earlier tweet in which he warned that right-wing extremists were coming into town to do violence tonight. And he was immediately told off by a number of people involved in planning this late-night ruckus that they were still going ahead with it and that they did not want to be intimidated off by the thought that some armed militia was coming to confront them, that they thought it was a scare tactic, to the point that this elected official in the city of Denver then posted, "I've been told organizers still want folks to come out, respect their ask, encourage folks to use caution." So that's just the dangerous dynamic that we have here, where you have numerous groups that are thirsting for confrontation. And then there's all kinds of other folks of various political beliefs who do not believe that confrontation is the path toward getting America's attention and getting resolution to these issues. We've talked about it a number of times. These groups are not monoliths. On every side of this issue, folks are not monoliths. That every person who is out protesting does not think the same way. Every police officer does not think the same way. Every person on the right does not think the same way. There's all kinds of different moving parts out here. but it only takes a couple dozen people of like mind to create very dangerous conditions in America's streets. Because we've seen that dynamic in Portland, we've seen it in Seattle, we have seen it most recently in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And we've seen the role to which social media plays in stoking these fires or putting them out. This was earlier today during a planned Day of Solidarity stretching across America, people marching in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and in commemoration of the 57th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s original March on Washington. There was another march to the National Mall and the Lincoln Memorial earlier today in which Dr. King's son and his only granddaughter addressed the crowd and talked about the portions of his dream not yet fulfilled by America. So this was the earlier in the day portion, and the plan was for this to run until 10 o'clock tonight. And his son fell, and there was this threat that outside extremists were going to come in for a clash. Then things started to splinter apart about who wants to be out there for this, who doesn't. You got your hardcore black bloc / anarchists / Antifa / whatever you want to call them out there ready to go with police. And they had this confrontation outside the District 6 building at Colfax in Washington. Police gave the order to disperse. They push them south. Pepper balls are fired. I didn't see widespread use of chemical agents there, and last we knew, this particular crowd was being moved south. And then we saw that view from Jennifer Meckel's camera of the other guys out there in camo standing around casually with police. I can't tell you who they are unless we're able to identify them, but I can tell you from experience, DPD doesn't just kind of hang out chummy with your Antifa and your black bloc types. So it would certainly suggest that the armed right-wing crowd might have arrived. But they were on the move last we saw. Jennifer, you were there.
Did you see?
Did Denver police tell them to take a hike? What happened?
It was really strange, Kyle. You saw all those people crossing the street, that group together, and then they just kept walking south on Washington. And then about 30 seconds later, we saw a whole group of police officers just walking right after them down the street. We were trying to like jog to catch up and see what was going to happen next. And then like maybe a block down the street, the police just kind of turned around and left, and that group kind of just dispersed. It was really strange. It seems as if this pocket of people, whoever they were, on Washington has pretty much dispersed at this point. The protesters that were on Washington seem to have pretty much dispersed. I mean, you've got people that live in this neighborhood that are out on the street corners trying to figure out what the heck's going on in their neighborhood tonight. But the activity, the escalation, the clashing that we were seeing just 20 minutes ago seems to have pretty much dispersed, at least as far as Washington and Colfax area is concerned. My colleague Ryan Hare has also been in this neighborhood tonight. He thought maybe that people were heading back down towards Civic Center Park. We don't know for sure, so he's actually heading that direction now to see if everybody has gone home or if just a group has peeled off. You're seeing me right now at 14th and Pearl. We're just walking through neighborhoods trying to figure out where people are going at this point. It's very kind of haphazardly tonight, but yeah, that group, we don't really know much about them or who they are or what their goal was. But you saw what I saw, and yes, standing around talking with police seemingly, but then the police walking after them and then peeling back and going back to their ranks as well. So, I don't know.
All right.
I'm not sure.
Quiet is good, though. We like quiet. Quiet is good for the neighbors there in Cap Hill. And again, for anybody who is rooting for an outcome other than watching their side whip the living daylights out of the other side, peace and quiet is good. Jenny, thank you to you and to your photojournalist Foster Gaines and to the rest of your crew for your work tonight. Appreciate that. Our Ryan Hare, along with Austin Knox, who had been on the other side of things. At this point, it encouragingly looks like things have de-escalated, at least spread out, and that flashpoint that we were seeing on East Colfax is no longer a cause of concern. We're going to step away. If we have new information about what's happening in the city, if there is a threat to other folks in the city who are just minding their own business tonight, we'll rejoin you here. There will be continuing coverage overnight on 9news.com and on our social media channels as well. Appreciate you being here with us tonight, and let's hope for a peaceful night. We'll talk to you later.